welcome to another episode of the Grueling Truths Tuesday Night Boxing Show, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. As always, I'm your host for the boxing show, Mike Goodpaster, and I want to welcome in my co-host, Dave Sidursky. How you doing tonight, Dave?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Mike?
All right, and we have a special guest tonight. He was a guest a few months ago, former light heavyweight contender, John the Iceman Scully. How you doing tonight, John?
Everything's really good. Glad to be here.
All right, we're going to recap the Miguel Cotto Saul Canelo Alvarez fight. What were your initial opinions of the fight, John?
I thought Canelo won it. I didn't see I see a lot of, as usual with fights like this, you see a lot of discrepancies and debating and different things. I thought he won it. I thought it was a good fight, and I thought he won it. I didn't see any type of robbery or anything of that nature. I thought it was fair and square.
All right, Dave?
I thought Canelo won, but I thought it was close, and I wasn't overly impressed with Canelo. He was the naturally bigger man. It looked like a middleweight versus a welterweight in the ring, which is essentially what it was. I thought Cotto won the early rounds, but Canelo was too strong down the stretch, landed the harder punches, but I would have expected him to be more dominant given his size advantage.
Yeah, and you talk about the size advantage. My big takeaway from this fight, and the thing that pissed me off the most about it, was the fact they call it the middleweight championship fight of the world at 155 pounds. Do you have any opinions on that, John?
I would love to kidnap whoever made up catchweight, and I'd like to just lock them in the basement.
Well, I think it was Sugar Ray Leonard, wasn't it?
well, Ray's got to go then. He's got to get handcuffed because that's, it's like, I read the next day was that Canelo, he actually said that Triple G, he'll fight Triple G, but it's got to be at my weight. So, he's saying, I'm not going to defend the middleweight title against this guy. I'm going to defend my own title, which I literally, I cannot even express my hatred for that practice. And here's the thing, and this is what's lost, I think, on the whole entire boxing world. They always blame the fighter. They say, "Oh, Canelo, it's messed up what he's doing." It's up to the WBC to put a stop to it. It's what they're doing. They're allowing.
Yeah, they don't have to sanction it.
Right. These fighters and promoters are coming in and basically just dictating to them. We're paying our sanction fee, and this is what we're going to do, and you're going to sign off on it. It's wrong. It's wrong. They've lost control of the titles. It's embarrassing. And it's I can't even explain. If boxing fans who don't know that much about it, but just like a very casual fan asks me, I can't even. I'm in the game and I can't even explain it to them why, even when you bring in like a silver champion, I guess the WBC, the silver champion, right? Here's how insane it is. I've been in boxing my whole life. I don't know what a silver champion is.
I was hoping you would know. I thought I was going to get an explanation right there.
Listen, if you said to me right now, I'm going to shoot you in the head if you can't tell me what a silver champion is. You'd have to kill me because I couldn't even fathom a guess. I couldn't even muster a guess. I don't know if you know, but I wish somebody.
I don't know. Do you know, Dave?
I have no idea. It's completely ridiculous.
That's your homework for next week, Dave. You're supposed to find out what the WBC silverweight champion is.
But think about that. All jokes aside, all three of us are involved in the game in some capacity or another. We're boxing people, and we don't know what the silver champion is. How insane is that? If you go to any other sport and ask them in football, baseball, basketball, anything about the process of the sport, they're going to be able to tell you. And here I am. I couldn't even guess what a silver champion is. I don't know what that means. I mean, that's
can't believe Dave doesn't
really
know.
Crazy.
He writes for a boxing site.
Well, yeah. Next to come, the Cleveland Browns versus the Dallas Cowboys for the junior silver Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and the Browns will only play the Cowboys if there's only 32 players allowed on the team.
And that's it's funny, but that's exactly what it's like. It's unbelievable that boxing is gone. It's almost like, in a funny way, it's almost like before the sanctioned bodies used to kind of hide the stuff, but now they just throw it out there and they just go, screw it. let's just throw out the Pan-American. Like I remember, but about 6 years ago, they started with the African title and the Hispanic title. But the key was African. All that meant was if you were African American. So, like, if you were a African American guy from Cleveland, you could fight for the African title. And if you were a Hispanic guy from New York, you could fight for the Hispanic title. So it didn't mean anything. It was, and they now let me ask you something. I don't know if you guys realize this. Do you know why they're doing this? What caused this influx of, like, literally ridiculous titles within the WBC?
Sanctioning fees.
But money.
No, but specifically, something happened, and I've never really seen anyone bet this, but I know what it is. But something specific happened. Do you remember? It was about 10 years ago.
Dave?
No, you got me.
I don't remember 10 years ago very well. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to tell you.
It's been a natural evolution since the 60s, and it's just gotten more and more ridiculous.
No. Listen. In I believe it was 1999, Roy Jones was WBC light heavyweight champion, right? He gives up the title. Roy Jones gave up the title. If you look it up, he gave it up. Michael Nunn and Graziano Racciani were the two top contenders, so they fought for the vacant title. Racciani won, disputed decision. A lot of people said he got robbed, Nunn got robbed or whatever, but Racciani won it. Then Roy, who's a good friend of mine, Roy's a good friend of me, but it is what it is. Roy comes back and says, you know what? He tells the WBC, forget it, I want it back. I don't want to give it up. And the WBC gave it to him and said that the title was an interim title fight.
Yeah, okay.
And Racciani was like, no, what are you, crazy? He goes, I got the posters. There was no interim. And they went to court, and Racciani won.
Hell yeah, he had the posters.
He won I don't know if it was like 100 and something million. Like, he won a major case. That's when all the titles came out. They're trying to get the fees because they have to pay him a certain amount of money. He could have bankrupted them, and they said, look, let's do a yearly thing. We'll give you a certain amount of money every year. So every single year for the last 17 years, Graziano Racciani's been getting money from the WBC. That's why they're making up all these ridiculous titles.
All right, I did not know that. I did remember the interim titles with Roy Jones, but I didn't remember the story.
Right, but it wasn't the interim. Roy gave it up. Racciani and Nunn fought for it, and then after Racciani got the decision, Roy said, never mind, I changed my mind. I want the title back. And they gave it to him. And Racciani is like, are you people crazy? We fought for the title. And that's what happened, and they won in court. There was no interim, it was a WBC title fight. So they won in court, and ever since then, literally a year later, they made up the African title, the Hispanic title. It got to be just bizarre, the titles they were making up. Yeah, that's where it came from.
All right. So where do you think Canelo Alvarez goes from here? You think he fights Triple G at 112 pounds, or what?
I mean, if he's saying it's going to be like 155, 157. If they ever made Triple G come down, I will have literally lost all respect for the WBC. And I have friends with the WBC, and I would love to talk to them about it. And they obviously know our position, but I'll hate it because to me, it means nothing. If you beat a guy at a catch weight, if you make him lose, basically, think about it. What I'm saying to you is, I know I can't beat you at your best, so I need you to suck down it. There's no other excuse for it. There's no other way you could justify it. Well, this is why I did it. You did it because you don't think you can beat him. That's it, period. So it's it's hollow. Like, if I go and I do that, then I beat you and I demolish you. I'm going to live for the rest of, now as me as a competitor, I'm going to live for the rest of my life wondering if I could have beat you at your best. And as a fighter, I don't want to do that. I would not want to do that. These guys, that's where you differentiate between a businessman and a real true fighter. A real true fighter says, you know what, I want to know, can I beat you or can't? A businessman says, you know what, I don't care. I just want to make the most money possible.
Yeah,
and,
Sugar Ray Robinson would have never asked Joey Maxim to come down to 168.
Oh, man.
Exactly.
Hey, Duran went up and fought Barkley, and Barkley looked like King Kong next to him, and he fought him and went toe-to-toe and, and
beat him.
Dropped him. Yeah, and beat him, right? And there's no way these guys today if they fight Barkley, they're getting a catchweight. Then no guy is moving up from lightweight and going to fight a guy like Barkley and not ask for a catchweight.
Well, and the problem is, like you said, the sanctioning organizations allow it.
Right, they've lost control. They've lost control. I actually met Suleiman not long ago. Vinny Pazienza introduced me to him. And, and I'm like, wow, he's a nice guy, like Mauricio. He seems like a really nice guy, and all that. But business-wise, this is just, like it's horrible. It's horrid. It's terrible. There's no adjective. It's just insane,
Yeah.
Well, let's go to our next subject, which will be the heavyweight title fight this Saturday in Germany. Vladimir Klitschko defends his WBA, WBO, IBF, and basically lineal heavyweight titles against undefeated Tyson Fury of England. What's your first thoughts on this one, John?
I think Klitschko's going to have his hands full with this guy. I think this guy is good. I think he hits hard, but I also think he's as brash as he is and unorthodox as he is. I think he'll disrupt Klitschko's rhythm. And I think he presents definitely a different look than Vladimir's had in quite a while. And
he's fighting somebody that's actually 3 inches taller than him.
Right, he's tall, and he's awkward, and he's fast, and he's fearless. He presents, and he's like the closest thing. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, he's actually like, to me, the closest thing we've had to Muhammad Ali in the heavyweight ranks, promotion-wise and personality-wise. I mean, this he's interesting. Like if you're at a press conference, you want to hear what this guy's talking about. And, you'd love to interview him. You'd love to talk to him because he says some funny stuff, and he's got the gift of gab, but he means it. I don't think he's doing it just to be the funny guy. I think he means it. And, and he's produced so far. I think he's not necessarily Superman. He's not unbeatable or anything like that, but I do think he presents problems physically.
All right, Dave?
It's good. Yeah, the interesting part of this one is it's going to be interesting to see, Vladimir fighting a guy who's got a 3-inch height advantage. I'm not sure what the exact reach advantage is, but a guy who's naturally bigger than him and younger. And I don't think Fury is a great boxer by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a good boxer. He can box. He's got the switch hitting thing going, which could be confusing. My head says I think Klitschko is the much better schooled fighter, but if he's not on top of his game, it could be an interesting night.
Well, my take on it is, the height advantage would be one thing, but he also has the classic tall man's habit of leaning forward when he engages. Puts him in a bad position to get clocked by a big puncher like Klitschko. Fury has had difficulty with technical fighters who can jab and move well laterally. A guy we had on the show a few months ago, former welter cruiserweight champion Steve Cunningham, actually put him on flat on his back in 2013. I think if Klitschko lands the same kind of shot, he puts Fury to sleep. So, how do you see this fight going, John?
I think, my feeling is that early on, Fury's going to cause some trouble, and Klitschko's going to take his time and get acclimated. I think he's going to think it's going to be a quick process. I think he's going to be surprised that it takes a few rounds to really get acclimated, because you can't. It's hard to come out of your comfort zone if you're so used to being in it for so long. But I think he's going to have to come out of it a little bit and do things that he's going to push himself in a way that he probably hasn't really had to in a while. My feeling is that sooner or later he's probably going to catch him with somebody. I think if he catches him with a very clean shot, I think the fight's going to be going downhill for Tyson from that moment on. But I just don't think it's going to happen quickly. I think it's going to be kind of a drawn out process, probably an ugly type of affair. Klitschko, like I say, he's going to have to do things a little bit differently than he used to get the job done. Being as patient as he is, if he, I'll say this, if he stays there and tries to be patient, I think he's gonna have a world of trouble. But I don't think he'll do that.
Yeah, you think Fury is just going to basically come at him and throw punches?
I mean, but I think he's also going to be, his head's going to be all over the place. I think he's going to, at least in the beginning, I think he's going to make Klitschko miss probably more than he usually misses. Maybe even, he'll drop counters in there on Klitschko. I think Klitschko's going to maybe early on have more problems than we've seen him have in quite a while. But just the power advantage, some guys you have a feeling about, and Fury, my feeling is that if he gets blasted with a shot from a guy like Klitschko, I don't think he's going to take it as well as he'd like.
Yeah, I agree with you there. What do you think, Dave?
I think if it's the typical Klitschko type of fight, a tactical fight from long range, I think Fury has a shot. But I agree with John that Fury's got a vulnerable chin, and Klitschko has got a tremendous right. And I think Fury might build an early lead, but sooner or later down the line, Klitschko is going to catch him, towards the later rounds. And I don't think Fury is going to recover.
Yeah, I think the key is Klitschko getting off first, keep the jab in his face. And I think Klitschko needs to move a little more laterally than what he has or what he's needed to in past fights. So what's the final prediction, John?
I think that at the midway point, I think Fury will be at least even, if not winning. And I think but he'll end up getting caught. Maybe I'm guessing 8th, 9th round. I think Klitschko will finally get through and take him out.
Okay, Dave?
I'm going to go Klitschko in 10.
Okay. That was quick, Dave.
Yeah, I think, just, basically what I just said, that Fury's going to keep it interesting for a while over the first half of the fight, but eventually Vladimir is just too well-schooled, too skilled, and too powerful, and he's going to get to him late. Unless Klitschko is really off his game and unless he really ages in a hurry overnight, which is always possible. The guy's 40 years old.
Yeah, I think that Klitschko wins the fight. I'm hoping Fury can. I think it would be good for the heavyweight division. I think Vladimir Klitschko is very underrated in his career. But you also have the same thing. I mean, guys that have been able to catch him, and I know it's been about a decade since Brewster caught him and Sanders caught him, but it's not like he takes the greatest punch in the world. He just got to the point where his defense was so good it limited that opportunity. But this is not going to be a fight where I think he's going to be able to just lean, clinch, and hold the whole fight and then throw his jab. But I would have to lean towards Klitschko. I'll say Klitschko by unanimous decision in 12.
But let me just interject one thing. If Fury was to win, especially if he was to win impressively, I think, and I like Vladimir, but I think realistically it would be a much better event for the heavyweight division, for boxing, to have a guy like Fury as a world champion, to be the heavyweight champion. I mean, here's the thing. Klitschko is a champion, and I don't know if I've ever heard him speak before. Like, I don't think I've ever heard him actually talk. You don't hear him, like when Ali was champ and different guys were champ, they were very, very visible. And people knew about them, almost like they knew about a movie star, or they knew about Elvis, they knew about Michael Jackson. People don't know anything about him. I think if Fury was champion, I think he would be the most colorful heavyweight champion in many, many years. And I think he would be, I would love to see him win and then beat someone else and just do it talking the whole way.
And in a pay-per-view fight, Madison Square Garden, him and Deontay Wilder.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd be phenomenal. The heavyweight division would be alive. It would be, Raz Mataz. It'd be good. And like I kind of hope it happens, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. Fury gets on my nerves with the run in his mouth, but it also is entertaining. I don't go around YouTube looking for Vladimir Klitschko interviews.
Right.
But you go looking for Tyson Fury because you never know what the hell he's going to say. The other question is also, I don't think the level of competition has been great for him, but it can't be because the level of competition is not great at the heavyweight division. So we really don't know how he's going to respond. We don't know how Fury's going to respond to somebody as big as him that can fight also. So I think this fight's a shot in the dark for just about anybody watching it, which is what makes it a fight I want to watch.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a good one.
But I would like to thank John Scully for coming on the show again. Pleasure as always. You're always welcome back whenever you want.
I appreciate it. You guys, good show. You guys do a good job, and I really appreciate you having me. And I will definitely come back anytime you need me.
All right. We appreciate it, John.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
John.
Thank you. All right, fellas. I'll see you. All right.
All right. Don't forget to follow us at the Grueling Truth Facebook page. Check us out at www.thegruelingtruth.com. Any final words, Dave?
Great show, and I'm interested to see what happens this weekend. I agree with John that I hope Fury wins simply because Klitschko is certainly he's been a great champion, but the division has been so boring for so long. We need new life breathed into it. My head says Klitschko, but my heart says Fury.
Yeah, my heart says it. Not really sure because never really know about a guy like Fury till he gets in a fight like this.
Exactly.
You already know Klitschko can perform under the pressure. It's just, like I said, my question is, can he take a punch? But also, Dave, if you go to the Amazon Prime store and look up The Rage Within, you'll see my first published book today, too. So
cool.
If anybody's interested in buying that, you can check that out. But you can find that on the Grueling Truth Facebook page also. Make sure you like the page so you can hear all of our other shows. We had the Bengals Weekly show this week with former Bengal wide receiver Tim McGee and former linebacker Joe Kelly. And our NFL Pick'em show will be out on Wednesday with former All-Pro Leon Searcy, myself, Matt Andrew Scavage, former Denver Bronco Mark Cooper. So for Dave Sidersky, this is Mike Goodpasture. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.